Hi everybody, welcome back to another Multimeter review. Hope you enjoyed the show. Today we're looking at a venerable, long-time friend of the bench. It is a BK Precision Test Bench 389A. This is an auto-ranging multimeter. It's been around for quite a while, and I actually just recently attained this guy via eBay. It was a new old stock item. And I had a former BK Precision, which I really enjoyed, had it for quite a while, and I thought, yeah, why not? So I bit the bullet, and it came in, probably about 3 months ago, and I gotta say, I really like it. Yes, you can tell it's getting a little long in the tooth, what have you, but these BK Precision meters are really nice. They're very well made, really solid, have some nice heft to it. In particular, I really like this model because of the auto ranging, and it's quite feature rich. And once again, in terms of a price point, I paid $88 Canadian for this. It's around $65, $70 US, and that was shipped. So a steal of a deal as far as I'm concerned, and really glad it came along. Now, this particular one does not have a backlight, so that's a bit of a downer. But that being said, most test benches, and that's where this one stays, is on my bench. It's not the type of meter I'm going to take with me on the job site, so to speak. It's fairly big. It's not super big, not as big actually as I thought it was going to be, but it is a good size. And in terms of functionality, it's quite feature rich. You've got your standard volts, AC/DC, resistance, diode, continuity, hertz, duty cycle, capacitance, microamps, milliamps, and amps up to 20. And everything is fused. And we're going to pop this puppy open from the inside shortly to give you a look at how it looks on the inside. One interesting feature with this meter is the leads. Now, the leads that it ships with, honestly, it's a mixed bag. You know, I like the way they feel in the hand. They feel quite nice. Even though the meter's rated at 20 amps, the leads themselves are only rated for 10. They do have the nice screw mechanism here, so you can put some adapters on here and do all sorts of weird, wonderful things with them. But they are really long. You know, for me, they're just too long. I mean, honestly, these leads are probably about 5.5 feet in length. I don't know why BK made them so long for, but they just tend to pile up or bunch up on the bench. And, you know, I really don't think it was necessary to have that long of a lead. We'll try the continuity, of course, with these, and once again, they're okay, but you'll see why I prefer to put probe masters or another lead as a replacement. Now, the 389A that we're reviewing today is a 3 3/4 4,000 count LCD display. It's auto ranging, like I mentioned, and it also is capable of manual ranging. Has an auto power off, and all current ranges are fuse protected. It has some international criteria in terms of protection, IEC 61010-1, and that's Cat 3 1000 volt class 2. Now this particular model, even though you can find it, if you're lucky, online, basically new old stock, it is retailing, like I mentioned, for around $80 to $90 Canadian, so about $70 US, 65 US, which is really quite a deal, because the replacement is the 390A, which is still in production, and pretty well has the same stats, except for it does temperature, and also has a slightly better in the accuracy department. But the 390A is retailing for over $180 US, so really 3 times the price. And like I said, the display, everything else is pretty well identical. So you be the judge. I still think this is a great deal if you can find one, and it's got some really nice specs. And one thing that I really like is the capacitance. For this particular model, it does up to 40, that's 40 millifarad. So that's a lot, that's pretty high. Normally in my field, I rarely test over 10 millifarad, 10,000 microfarad, but to have that potential of going up to 40, it's great. So yeah, a lot of new meters are not capable of that. So it's really handy, and it's a nice feature to have. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a voltage test, and we'll bring in another multimeter just for comparison purposes. So I'll set that up and we'll be right back. Okay, so I brought in my one of my bench favorites, my Prova 903. It's pretty well the same size, maybe a tad bigger than the Test Bench 389A. But I think it's pretty good comparative wise. So let's start off with our voltage test. Here we go. So we're sitting at 0.9 volts. Let's take it up to 1 volt even. And we're showing as 1.07 on the Prova, 1.06 on the BK. Taking it up a notch, let's go up to 5 volts, shall we? Okay, let's go up to 8.2. 8.2 for the Prova, 8.2 for the BK. Going up. Now both of these meters have the bar graph, the analog bar graph, and we'll check the speed in comparative wise as well. Okay, so up to 15 volts, 15.150 for the Prova, 15.13 for the BK Precision. Going up, up, up and away, up to 22.5 volts, 22.59 for Prova, 22.57 for the BK. So pretty well neck and neck. Going up to 28.3 volts, 28.389 for the Prova, 28.36 for the BK. And we're going to max it out now at just over 31.6 volts. 31.75 for the Prova, 31.72 for the BK Precision. So good stuff, BK. Prova's extremely accurate meter, and heck, you know, there you go. So in terms of spec, that was pretty well neck and neck. Now if we take a look at the bar graph themselves, let's see if I can get in a little closer for you. Okay, sorry about that. So, pretty well as close as we're going to get it. In fact, maybe we're just a tad too close. Okay, so we're going to go up and down the current range from 0 to 30 volts, and we'll just check out the speed of each of the bar graphs. You be the judge. Slightly different segment display. The bar graph on the BK actually has the 10, the 20, the 30 increments compared to the Prova, which goes by 1, 2, and 3. I don't know, I think they're fairly close. I probably give it a smidgen to the Prova, but honestly, in this case, I prefer the graphical display of the BK. Just bring it in even slightly further. Okay, so obviously high resolution, 60,000 count for the Prova, but in terms of the actual bar graph, yeah, they're pretty well neck and neck. And I do apologize, I just realized I got the glass protector on our BK Precision, which I will remove shortly. But okay, so yeah, you be the judge. Both really, really fast. Not super fast, but definitely fast enough for the bench. And I think either one would do a great job. Okay, so I did remove the protective cover. And so you can see the display is obviously a little bit better on the BK now that that plastic has been removed. Digits are slightly larger than the Prova. Probably easier to read. Of course, they don't have quite the resolution as the Prova. The Prova is also a dual display, so But all in all, yeah, no, very, very nice for the BK. And yeah, no, looks good. Okay, so coming up next, we're going to do some continuity tests and capacitance. Okay, so we're going to start with a continuity test, and I'll be using both the stock BK precision probes, which are these guys, and after that we'll try a pair of probe masters. So we will switch it to the continuity setting. Now, that's a good thing that you just heard that. This is one big faux pas for this meter, is that annoying chirping sound. So every time you change the dial, drives me crazy. But anyway, if you switch it fast enough, it's not so annoying. But why, oh why is it such... I just hate it when meters do that. Really not necessary. Anyway, it is what it is. Let's continue. After the continuity test, once again using the stock BK precision probes. And here we go. Wow, it's super slow. So for just doing this, and I'm actually applying quite a lot of pressure, get nothing. So if you're probing a circuit, good luck with that. Not until I actually hit the probe and let it rest on the probe. Fail, epic fail, no good. I would never, that would not suffice for my needs. Okay, so I've taken off the BK precision leads and I'm using the probe masters. Let's see if that makes a difference. Wow. Night and day, night and day. I'm hardly applying any pressure this time, and it's almost instantaneous. So once again, sometimes leads can be the downfall of a meter, and if you're not happy with performance, try a good set of leads that you know works. And it doesn't always have to be expensive probe masters. It could be inexpensive, cheap Chinese probes that, as I've shown in previous videos, some of those leads actually work, and they work really well. But yeah, leads make all the difference. So in this case, yeah, with the replacement leads, it's continuity's just fine, nice and fast. Now, one thing that this meter also has is an alarm. As you can tell, I'm about to test capacitance. And that just tells us that our leads were improperly inserted. Now, we're in capacitance. Meter says I'm good with that. No alarm, and away we go. So that's you know, it's a decent feature. We'll hook this up. This is a 10 millifarad capacitor, and I will just try to bring it here. Alrighty, so here we go. And as you can see, the display, it is thinking. We're up to the millifarad, and boom, 9.47. So spot on. Once again, this BK Precision Test Bench 389A is capable of a whopping 40 millifarad or 40,000 microfarad for capacitance checking, which is great. So good job, BK. Now with some of the BK meters, actually I believe it's the 2709B, I hope I've got that right. But some of them are having issues in terms of the capacitance, and one of the fixes that BK is saying to its customers is they're sending them a new set of leads. And it sounds like they're shorter leads. So sometimes having too long leads can be problematic, but I don't think that is the case with this meter. But you know what, let's just try it. So I'll use the standard BK leads, and let's see if we're gonna get anything funny. Whoops, okay, I'll try and make this a little less cumbersome for you. Okay. Same capacitor, 10,000 microfarad, 50 volt. How's it going to do with the standard super long leads? Is it going to give us a problem, or is it going to show us what we want to see? And there we go, 9.26. So awesome. No issue at all with the BK leads. Now this particular test bench 389A has a maximum resistance checking of 40 mega ohm. I'm not going to bother testing that, but I will test out the feature. It's a rel feature. And we'll just switch this to the resistance. And once again, we're getting our lovely alarm. Thank you, BK. Now we have the probes properly inserted. Let's see what we've got here. 0.6, 0.3, 0.2. So 0.2. So we hit the rel. Oh, let's try that again. 0.2. Apologize. Okay, so 0.2. So we're going to rel that out. And now when you're testing, checking the resistance, you've basically nulled out any discrepancy. It's a nice feature, the rel feature. A lot of meters have it. A lot of them don't, but there you go. Now we're not going to actually test any resistors today per se. A couple buttons here. This is for the amps AC or amps DC. This is our duty cycle mode. And here we have our range, which we can also go into manual. Sometimes manual is a little bit faster, but for all intents and purposes, I'm quite happy using the auto range with a meter like this. We have our min max and standard hold. Nothing fancy, it's just your typical hold. Okay, so next we're going to take this puppy apart and we'll see what is on the inside coming up next. Okay, so here we are inside the test bench. And I gotta say, I like what I see. Very, very nice. Very well thought out. Super clean. I mean, you can tell this is not your run-of-the-mill multimeter. First of all, hoorah, check out the shielding. Goes almost the entire body of the chassis. Lots of blast protection on the outside. I mean, that's great. Why we don't see more like this, I don't know, but very, very nice. I love that shielding. Good job, BK. Taking a closer look at the PCB itself. Wow. Huge 20 amp SEPA fuse right there on the current range, and right underneath this guy, it's a little protector. For the milliamp range, we have another, not quite so big, but still nice to see. Another fuse. And look at that, count them. Not one, not two, three, four PTCs all lined up, all ready to protect you. That's perfect. Got a MOV over here. We've got a nice resistor array. Huge, huge capacitor. I'm not sure what exactly this guy's doing, but he is huge. Massive piezo speaker. There's the main IC up here. This is from Cyrus Tech, and it's Taiwanese IC. This meter itself is made in Taiwan. Very, very nice. For the actual inputs themselves, they're, I mean, wow. It's built like a tank. You've got a separate layer daughter board here on top. And you've got this massive, massive amount of, I don't even know what that is actually. Combination of solder and steel. It's just incredible. Like very, very, very nice. I mean, you know, this thing is built to last, obviously. So you buy one of these, it's probably going to be for a lifetime unless you manage to do something really interesting with it. Got some clapping going on down here. I'm trying to see if there's a true RMS converter in there. Sort of an awkward angle. But generally speaking, what can I say? It looks great. Combination of SMD and through hole. Super well constructed. And remember, this is not a brand new multimeter. It's been around for a while, so very, very nice. Very, very nice. I'm not going to take it apart any further than this. If you can see down here as well, nice big current shunt, and it's actually on a 90-degree angle. So a lot of thought went into the input protection here, and excellent job, BK Precision. Okay, so I'm going to put this back together and I'll come back with my final thoughts. One thing I did neglect to mention is the screws themselves to get inside. 4 threaded screws, and it's just plastic into plastic, but it does hold it securely, and I really can't see that being a problem. As you can see here, it is made in Taiwan. The boot itself has a very nice tactile feel to it. You've got a little hanger here if you want to just hang it somewhere. Standing bail itself, it's not going to go anywhere. Very well made. I like what I see. To get to the battery itself, you don't have to take off the 4. You can actually, that's not true. Actually, to get to the battery itself, you do have to remove the 4 screws from the back of the cover to access that 9-volt battery housing. That's too bad, but probably the only really big negative thus far. Closing thoughts on the BK Precision Test Bench 389A. I really like it. Very solid, very stable, really nice to have on the bench. One thing I did forget to point out was this feature here, the Peak Plus. What that does is it records the minus and plus values of a measurement with a response time, I believe, as low as 1 millisecond. And if you press the button for more than 2 seconds, it'll exit that mode. I don't know how often or how useful a feature like that is, but nonetheless, it is there. Solid meter, superb input protection, great chassis, lots of shielding, a lot of bonuses here. I don't care for the leads that it ships with. I think they're too long, and frankly, they're just not good enough. Replace the leads, and you've got a high-quality meter. Anything bad to say about it? Has no backlight. Wish maybe perhaps the accuracy settings were slightly higher, but for all my needs and purposes, and for most of yours out there, probably it will suffice without any issues. Test Bench 389A from BK Precision gets a solid 4 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed this review, stay tuned for plenty more. Remember, keep on testing.